sitting here awkwardly for like 10 minutes while then we've been seeing us talking anyways. But hello, welcome to our panel. Thank you for coming at like 8 p.m. on a Saturday night. I know there's a lot of cool things to do and there's nice weather out, but we appreciate you coming to join us. Hey, you guys started. You made it. Oh, good. Come on in. Is there still a bunch of people maybe coming from that?
It might come, yeah. Because the burlesque show just...
Are you guys okay to wait? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
Have questions for us?
What's Pink City? I don't even know.
Yeah, so I guess you guys probably already know what Pink City is, which is why you're here. So I'm not going to go too much into explaining that, but I'm Chris, and I am one of the co-founders of Pink City, and I kind of take care of the marketing and creative direction stuff. And then
I'm Mike. I take care of more of the business side of things.
And I'm Shafri, and I recently joined the team to do social media marketing with that.
we always want to do like these like Q&A panels, just because we know a lot of people who want to start a business or start something or start kind of a brand, or even like I know there's a lot of cosplayers in the building, like that itself is kind of your own brand, like you're trying to, especially if you want to like do something with it. So anyone who's trying to do something and be their own boss, we just kind of want to offer our insight just for the past 5 years of experience that we've been around for. So July 14th is going to be our 5-year anniversary, which is a long time. So yeah, we're just here to kind of answer any questions, and we'll just kind of, it's an open discussion, and like you guys can like chip in, and like if anyone else has like thoughts as well, like you guys can like help us with our answers. It's just like a chill, let's talk about business and all help each other grow type thing. So that's kind of the idea behind the panel. So that being said, who here like is thinking about or has thought about or has already started like some kind of okay. I mean, yeah, I'm assuming all of you because you're here.
So I'll answer your question. Was it a serious question you're asking what Pink City is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we started off as a clothing brand, but now we're kind of like a lifestyle brand. We throw parties and stuff, and what else do we do?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are from Toronto at all or have been to like Fan Expo or anything like that, like we do a lot of like after parties and events and like, pop-up markets, just kind of like more lifestyle stuff for like geeks and gamers and anime nerds and things like that. Just because like it started as clothing, but like we want to do so much more with it, and like it's only been 5 years. It's just kind of the beginning.
Yeah. So some insight into that is it's really important to find your demographic and to find your community. So throwing the parties, that really helped with that because we've kind of created our own community, and obviously everyone who comes to our parties, they know who we are when we do that. So that's a really important thing that we've done. Obviously at the very beginning we couldn't do that because no one knew who we were. And as people got to know us, then we could start throwing parties and people would come, and then it's kind of like the parties help us sell clothes and selling clothes helps the parties, so it all works.
Has anyone here been to a Pink City party before?
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, so you guys know how cool they are. Who shows up? Like the Fan Expo ones, yeah. Yeah, so I guess off the bat, like, does anyone have any like questions about Pink City, business, building something? Yeah. First question of the day.
How do you make partnerships? Because I've seen your clothing in different stores. There's a game store on Spadina where I see your store. Yeah, so how do you make those partnerships and those relationships?
In the beginning days, we would go to the stores and in person introduce ourselves, and you always have to ask for the manager. Like you don't want to talk to like an employee because they're just gonna,
It's like applying for a job.
Yeah, it's like applying for a job basically. You want to talk to the manager and show them your stuff, and then get to know them and stuff. And we do consignment, so it's like they don't have to buy our stuff. We just keep it in the store, and then we get paid out every month or so.
Same thing with Raiders or the Hive, Eastwood Center. You guys just went, you spoke
That was
about this.
different.
They contacted us because they heard about our parties and they wanted us to throw parties with them.
Actually, funny story that we
yeah.
we were throwing parties at Power Up Bar, and the way we met Power Up Bar is because we had a booth at Fan Expo a couple of years ago. Was it 2 or 3 years ago now?
Probably.
And they were just opening up like that month, and Jess the bartender, if you've ever been there.
She's the manager.
The bar manager, yeah. She had actually emailed us like way before that, like a long time, like kind of when we first started, like asking to like model for us. And like we just kind of kept her in like the model portfolio. Anyone who emails us with their like portfolio, we just kind of keep on record in case like the project comes up and we're like, oh, like that would be a cool person to fit that project. And we recognized her and we're like, oh hey, like what's up? And she's like, oh yeah, like we're like a new bar that just opened up. Like here's like where we are. We're like come check it out. And we're like, okay, yeah, cool, whatever. And then our friend Holly Wolf, if you're familiar with Holly Wolf, she was having her birthday one year, so like that same year, but like it was like a month later maybe. And she was like, where should we go? Like, what should I do? And we were like, there's this gaming bar that just opened up. Like, we should check it out. And like, we were meaning to check it out and see what it was all about. So we went, and like, we had a great time. They were super hospitable, and then like, that's kind of how we started that partnership. Because they were like, yeah, we just opened up. We need more people to come here. So like, if you guys want to throw parties here, we'll work something out. And like, we basically, you know, we were the first people to start doing events there. And then they got too big of like eventually, I think the Valentine's Day of like that year. Power Up, if you've been, it only fits like 200 people max, like 150 is even pushing it. And like we had that Valentine's Day, like it must have been the Facebook ads or something, because we had like at least like, we had like 200 people lined up outside the door.
We had more people lined up than inside.
When we were already at capacity and we were like, it's Valentine's Day, people are so thirsty. I guess that's what happened. And we weren't really prepared. And so like we had to turn a lot of people away, and it was actually really, you know, it was shitty for us to like obviously we wanted everyone to come in. The venue couldn't hold that many people, it's a safety hazard. So I mean, it was still a lit party. It just sucks to like have to go outside and be like, hey, like go to the end of the line, and be like, hey, like I know you've been waiting for 2 hours, but like you gotta go home. So that kind of sucked. And then I guess Raiders, aka now the Hive, they're a much bigger venue. If you've been, they can fit like 400 people or something.
Yeah.
They heard about like the whole like capacity shenanigans, and they took that opportunity like, hey, we have this like really large venue, it's like Midtown, so it's not like downtown, but like come check it out. And then that's how that started. So they kind of reached out to us.
To add to that, actually, when it comes to partnerships and building relationships like that, it's always about the what's in it for me for each party, right? So Raiders at the time, they were just up and coming as well. So they were looking for reasons to host like some cool nerdy events as well. And so it worked out to be like a mutually beneficial partnership. So just like whenever you're networking or talking to people, always make sure to like, you know, talk about your work, what you can offer them, see like, you know, what they do, how you can kind of see a fit. And that way you get the conversation going, and then if you both have an interest in that end goal, then it's more likely to become an actual partnership like what these guys have done.
Yeah, and like for like the stuff at the stores, like ANC Games, that stuff is a lot more difficult to get into like a retailer because there's so much involved in that. We were lucky enough to like know a bunch of people who worked there just from like networking, and just like they knew who we were just from conventions and, you know, being around and having our clothes around. So that worked out in that way, but like it's hard when you're trying to go to a store and be like, hey, like our stuff's cool, like we think people will buy it, but like you're like this new company that has like, you know, only a couple thousand followers and like, you know, not that much under your belt. Cause like, you know, stores are gonna be like, why should we, you know, buy stock of your thing? Which is why consignment works out, because they don't have to like put much risk down. They just kind of have your stuff on the shelf, and if it sells, they get a cut, we get a cut. Consignment's it's a way a lot of small brands work, but yeah, it's a challenge, but it's something that obviously as your company gets older and older, and you kind of build and grow bigger and bigger, it gets easier.
One thing that we did, which was really helpful, was I think, so another store that we were in, Untitled & Co., they weren't really sure about us, and we've like crossed paths with them before, but then we asked, what if we just do a pop-up? So we did a pop-up market like on a day, and we just invited like everyone to come, and they all bought their stuff from their store. So they're like, okay, so now we want to carry you because we see how much pull you have.
Yeah, and so, that pop-up apparently, up until that point, was like the biggest pop-up they had ever had. And so they were like, yeah, like hands down, like we'll carry you guys. Like you guys should prove that you have some kind of pull, you have like a customer base that you know, crosses with ours. So that's how that works.
What type of advertising do you use? Like Instagram, Facebook, like what is the, I guess,
So,
thing?
the number one advertising strategy is always influencers. People always trust what influencers put out. And then the second thing is like Facebook ads and Instagram ads. So we have something, our online store is with Shopify, and we have an app that does retargeting. So if someone visits our site, then they're gonna get Facebook ads for those specific products on their newsfeed. So like the technology is really good right now, and if e-commerce didn't exist, we probably wouldn't exist either, because like we don't follow the traditional fashion way of like two seasons a year, and we have to be like ahead of time, like buy everything ahead of time kind of thing. So
Yeah, and like since this is a panel about like starting a business and like starting a brand, I guess for like early years of like your business, I think I would say the number one thing is influencers and giving out free stuff, I guess is what it comes down to. Because like at that point you don't really have much money to spend on ads, you don't really have like anything except product. And the only way you can really get people to share that is if people who have a lot of influence are showing their followers. So we really didn't pick up for about like 2 years. We only had like 2,000 followers on like Instagram, like just as like a judge of like where we were at. And it wasn't until like YETICON wore our stuff that we like tripled in like 2 months, and like that's kind of when things started to kick off and like get the ball rolling.
So like, did you give her stuff, or did
Yeah,
so
so-
you have to pay her? Like that part, I don't understand.
Okay, so yeah, a lot of like really high, like not high end, like really up there influencers, they do want people to pay or like that kind of thing. We've been pretty good so far in the way that like most people that we send stuff to really like our stuff and just want to wear our stuff. Like they don't even ask. So like with Jessica and Avery, how that happened was like does anyone remember Atomic Lollipop? That convention?
Yes.
No, it wasn't that great. Yeah, that was a good time. That was the first time we had like a booth at a convention, and Holly Wolf was a guest at that booth, and she came by our booth and was like, "Oh, this looks really cool." And then she actually bought stuff. She didn't even like ask for
we didn't even know who we were, and she bought
like,
stuff.
yeah.
So then everyone was like, "Do you know who this is?" We're like, "No."
Yeah. And they're like, "Oh, she's Holly Wolf." And I was like, "Wait, why does that sound familiar?" Like, "Oh, she's like one of the guests." And then she ended up buying stuff and then like wearing it and then like posting about it and then like came back the next day and then got some more stuff, and like that was like so awesome of her. And like I guess she was like probably like the first big like
She was,
influencer to wear our stuff. And then via her months later, Meg Turney was at EGLX like a couple like the first time it like came back type thing. And then Holly was there as well, and then I think she saw Holly wearing some stuff during EGLX. So then she inquired about it and like messaged us and was like, "Hey, like I love your like Respawn jerseys, like and your jackets, like how can I get one?" And we're like, "Friggin' Meg Turney, just have it." And so via her, like if you know her and Jessica and Ingrid, they're like close friends. I think Jess saw it on her at some point because like not too long after, I'm like just on my phone. I think we were at I don't know where we were at something, and I look at my phone and it's like in notifications, Jessica Negri follows you. And then I was like, wait, what? I was like, is this like a spam account? But then it was like, I was already following her, so I was like, wait, the Jessica Negri? So like immediately I like slid in the DMs and I was like, hey, like how's it going? Like, obviously huge fan, like I guess like, what's up? And like, we'd love to send you some stuff if you like it. And she was like, yo, I love your guys' stuff so much. Like, and she knew we were like a small brand, and she was like, guys, like I'm not gonna ask you for any money, like I just like want to help you guys grow. Like she was super sweet, and like she likes her stuff enough that she would never ask, because apparently she like charges for like posts.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, it's fair. Like that's if you're an influencer, that's your job. But she's never asked us for that, and she liked us enough to like really support us and like want us to grow and see where we went. And so we're forever thankful for her for that.
And in the very beginning, you don't need to reach for like the top. You can get like micro influencers, so people with like 10,000 maybe or even like less who have a really loyal following. And that is actually how we started with like the whole influencer thing. Because like, a lot of these smaller influencers, they're still connected to the larger influencers. So it all works out. Just, like we sent out a lot of clothes in the beginning, and a lot of stuff we didn't get anything back from. But like the ones that you do hit are really good, and it's just like a numbers game at the beginning, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. It's hit or miss. Like there's been a lot of times where we were like, oh, like if we send this stuff to like this person, you know, who knows? And we never really got much from it, and then like that's like, I don't want to say a waste, but it was a waste.
But you find your footing though.
Yeah.
You find like which types of people
Yeah.
work
And,
best
like,
for you.
Yeah, you know your product the best, so like once you'll kind of get the hang of it, and you'll kind of understand where the demographic that will buy your stuff lies, and like we try not to like send stuff to people who like kind of have the same audience because they're just seeing it again, right? So we try to switch it up, like streamer here, cosplayer there, like random like I don't know rapper or something here. So it's like it's trial and error for sure, and you will like spend a lot of money and waste product on like things that might not pan out, but like
You won't know until you do it
you
though.
won't know until you do it. And like honestly, if it wasn't for like Holly and Meg, like those were kind of the stepping stones to get to Negri. It wasn't like overnight Negri just followed us and was like, hey, like let me wear your stuff. Like we got there because we had sent things to people and it had been around and like she had seen things at conventions. Like yeah, so yeah, that's kind of a really long answer to your question.
No, I have another question. No, go
Yeah.
ahead. Okay, is Pink City like your full-time gig or is this a side hustle like for you? Like,
This is very much a side hustle for us.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
take
So
vacation days for this.
yeah. So keep your day job, everyone.
Okay.
Keep your day job. for sure.
Yeah, not like, I mean that's a very like, it's not black and white like
It's-
that.
sure.
Obviously, like yeah, like we have kept our day jobs just because when I had like so just some background on me, like I work at Ryerson University and I do all the video stuff for the admissions department. I went to film school. He went to Queens for psychology. So we don't have like a background in fashion or business. But so like my job is like very much what I went to school for. I do video stuff. I direct like video things for Ryerson University, and just having like a salary and benefits and that comfort gives me like it like relieves the stress of having to worry about paying bills and all that stuff because that part of my life is taken care of by my full-time job that I can focus my efforts and my time on things that matter when it comes to Pink City. Whereas like if I had quit my day job, it's like, fuck, we're not selling enough shirts. Like how am I gonna eat tomorrow? Like you can't keep a business going if you're dead, right? So like yeah, you gotta keep it realistic. But that being said though, like if your business is taking off and like you are, making and you do the math, like and you're smart about it, like by all means, if you can make your side hustle your full-time hustle, like is that not the goal?
Yeah, that's the dream.
Yeah.
That's the dream,
right?
Yeah.
Everyone wants that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're only 5 years in, and like, because it's a part-time thing, we really do things here and there. It's not like we dedicate too much time to it. We have like conventions and parties like once or twice a month, and then the online store stuff. But it's very much like a part-time thing. But you'll know if anyone started a business or anything that even a part-time being a part-time thing, it's always a full-time thing. You're always thinking about it. You're always like doing things like. You're always like responding to emails and like I'm lucky enough to have a very chill work environment where like I can like message my brother and talk about things on like Facebook Messenger or like answer emails if it's a slow day, like things like that. So I'm super lucky when it comes to that. But we do like recommend people to like kind of be smart about it and don't just like take that plunge if you don't really know what you're doing because that could lead to very bad consequences. So,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's go over first.
Just someone who's like kind of shy, right? How do you cut through all the noise in the DMs to get to an influencer to try and, start a conversation and get things going?
So
This
we're
is a
both
lot.
we're both introverts, believe it or not. So this is like it's a lot to get here. Yeah, and probably most of us are. Yeah. Yeah. You want to answer that, Chris?
yeah, I mean, it's
So he runs social media. That's why it's better for him.
yeah, like the DMs at least. Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of times, like more than most, where you like email someone or send like a DM to someone and you don't hear back. Like we tried, like 2 weeks ago, I tried to DM Billie Eilish, And you know, I was obviously not gonna hear back. But our friend Problem Boy, he actually ended up getting some stuff on her via her stylist. So I like went on her stylist Instagram and I was like liking and commenting shit, like, yo, hey, what's up?
Yeah, also, the stylist is usually the into
Yeah,
like really big celebrities.
Yeah, and has anyone seen that Elle Canada magazine cover that we were featured in? It was like March of like 2 years ago. Does anyone know Superwoman, Lily Singh? She was wearing our Birth of Venus, an old design, like our sweater, in like in the featured article of that issue. And like even we like were tagged in it from someone. We were like, what the heck? How did this happen? It's because the stylist for her, for like a certain shoot she was doing for Elle magazine, went to Untitled & Co., which is one of the stores we were at, just pulled a bunch of stuff, and then she was just going through it, saw that sweater, and was like, that's sick, wore it, and ended up.
Yeah, we didn't even know until after it was already published.
Yeah.
So that's like one of the great things about being in a store that, you know, stylists go to. So in terms of going with the name, I'm not the creative guy, so maybe Chris has to answer this. But like, yeah.
Sorry, I changed this speak back. See, this is what happens when you're running your own business and you're also the video guy. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, we kind of just stumbled into our name. Was it you that asked?
Yeah.
Yeah, like we were having the conversation, our dad has been an entrepreneur his whole life and kind of an inspiration because he's been like this, he's been starting his own businesses since as long as we've known life. And so like he was kind of the one that like prodded us to do it because we were just having that conversation of like, oh, we should maybe like do like a clothing thing one day. And he was like, you guys should do it, like, fucking why not? And because he had that domain name, because he was such an inspiration, we kind of wanted to like turn this like shitty website that never went anywhere into something that he could be proud of. And yeah, like the idea of like you know our logo is like that neon sign over black. Like we want to be that like bright and like kind of obnoxious, but like really cool, like light in like an otherwise boring dark world. That was kind of like, it fit with what we were kind of going with, so that's how we came with our name. Like I feel like every name is a different origin story, and I feel like there's no right.
What are you trying to do?
So come up with a name for it.
Yeah. You can try.
Not just video stuff, just like branding
Okay.
YouTube kind of thing. Like I don't know, like whether it should be something sort of descriptive or just like a mashup of two random words, as is sometimes the case.
You come across the name that's like perfect for you when it like hits you.
Yeah.
You have that eureka moment. I think for names specifically, you definitely will have like a eureka moment. Yeah, I think for us that was like the King City thing. But I feel like everyone has like a different answer.
Yeah, it definitely needs to reflect what you're doing and who your audience is, and also yourself. I think those three things, it has to reflect all three of those.
Actually, funny, totally, a little bit of an non-sequitur, but I work for this video game company, a small startup. It's called UDX Interactive. Now, UDX literally stands for United Dorks. Because my boss is like, you know, he's just like really into like the whole like make a video game from when he was a kid, this whole childhood experience he had. But it's hilarious. I'm like, oh, what does this stand for? I'm like, are you serious? Like, that's it? And the logo is literally like a box with sunglasses because it's got that creative imagination, turning the box into whatever you want it to be, right? So honestly, when it comes to branding itself, the name itself, it could reflect what, like, you know, what you're doing and descriptive of what it is that you love and about yourself. But to be honest, it could also be two random words, and then how you take that and brand that in its own way to reflect what you're doing, totally up to you. You have complete creative freedom over that, and what you make of it is what it becomes and it sticks.
Like, I feel like there's like a lot of things
So
where
it should
like,
be easy to remember.
Yeah, totally.
You don't want to
Yeah.
what was that thing?
Yeah, I feel like for names, like it like there are probably a lot of cases out there where it's just like something happened and that's what ended up turning the name.
What's the difference between selling your clothing and selling an intangible object, like getting people to come
Like a
to
service?
parties?
Oh,
So when you guys do your part, so you started the clothing line first, and then how much later did you start throwing the parties? And what's the difference? Is it easier to sell the clothing, or is it easier to throw a party? Because it's an intangible object. It's sort of like, you're gonna have a great time, come, like, but it's not, you don't really know until you get there. But with clothing, you can touch it, you can see it,
Yeah.
especially if it's in the store, you can try it on.
They're both two different beasts. I feel that they both have their like pros and cons type thing. I personally feel like events are harder to sell because like it is an intangible thing. You're like, we promise you'll have a good time, based on like what, like.
Is it like the DJs, the pool, the
No,
location?
No, I think when we started off, we would
That was
have
like 2 years after we first started.
Yeah.
So, like, we did our events.
yeah, we would have guest influencers come in and then they would post about the parties, and that's kind of how it started. Now we don't need to do that anymore because like everyone who comes as an influencer, so it's like not everyone can just come for free all the time. Yeah, it is different though. It is different.
And we had to like learn that. Like we kind of had a background where like in like high school and stuff, like we used to throw like these crazy house parties, and we just kind of translated those skills into the event planning of, you know, what makes a cool party. Because like I don't know, we found that there was like a void in like that in the specifically the convention scene where like people would like love to see all their friends and like all these cosplayers at conventions, but then like, you know, they go home and then they don't see each other for like months. And we're like, there's that void that needs to be filled. So we're like, let's do these like monthly parties where these people can get together and not like the only time you see them is like, oh, like, hi, bye. I gotta run to like my like panel, or I gotta run to like a shoot. Like actually spend time with these people, actually hang out with these people. That's kind of what started the whole party thing, because we're like, these people want to hang out. They just have no reason to. So we started these parties, and like I think people caught on to that as like the selling point. Like we want to hang out with these like cool people that we know, like barely know because we only see them like twice a year, like Annie Norman Fan Expo. Why should we go? Like that's the reason. And I think over time, like it built its own reputation of like these parties are fun, and now we've come to that because of that.
Your parties are more fun than any regular club party.
Yeah, and it's
like
probably because we have that experience of like making these epic house parties that like. I feel like generally people who run conventions or like do like geeky stuff, like they don't really know party life, like because they're so separate. I mean that's like a generalization, but like that's how what we found early on, and like we just kind of meshed the two and like figured out what people wanted from events and parties, and just.
Yeah, just to add to that, it really, when you're dealing with two different things that you're trying to sell like that, it really comes down to how well you know the audience of each thing. So the people that are buying the clothes, even though they might be the same people at the parties, like that desire, the drive to go or to buy is completely different, right? So when you're looking at an intangible thing like an event, you got to think about the people that are going to this event. What do they want? Do they want to be around famous people, celebrities, famous cosplayers? Do they want to be around their friends? Are they looking to just have fun because they don't get that all the time? Because, you know, they're a little bit like, you know, they don't know the right places to go where they'll have a good time and find people that have the same interests as them, right? So with the Pink City brand, it actually worked out really well because you're dealing with this kind of nerdy geekwear type of people that really love that style, and they all kind of shared the fact that that's a niche, and it's hard to find people with the exact same interests. So what better way to form that community than to throw these events where you can meet people who, hey, we bought like the same shirt, maybe we like the same anime that that's related to, and then it goes from there, right? So it really comes down to, you know, even us all being in that same space, it's like, what do we want? Yeah, we want that too, and like, how do we make this fun? And every time we're always trying to think of like new creative ways to make the events even better, like prizes to give out, cool people to be there, music, like what are people talking about now? Maybe what worked a few years ago for events, it might be completely different now, right?
Do you guys come up with the special menus, like when there's the special drink menus with the special drinks? You guys come up with that?
Well, I'm not like a mixologist, so I don't actually like. I'm not like in a lab, like. Ooh.
We just say like we want like a red one and we want to call this, like make it happen.
We have like a thing for like a party, and we're like, yeah, can we have like a shot and like a cocktail? Can the cocktail be like red, and then we want to call it this, and then the bar will be like, gotcha, and like we're lucky that Jess at Power Up is such a great like drink maker, and like Liam, who's, you know, no longer at the Hive, but he was like really good at making drinks. So we would kind of work with them. And then like they would send us like roughly like what they had in mind, and be like, that looks delicious, let's go with it. And they've all been like amazing drinks. Like I haven't had a shitty one.
Yeah.
So those have been to Pink City parties. Really good drinks.
And we started throwing the parties as after parties for conventions. So it's like you're at a convention and the convention's done, but you still want to hang out with your friends. So then that's where the party idea kind of like started. So we kind of latched on to conventions, made them after parties, and then now we just do like monthly parties. It doesn't necessarily have to be a convention anymore.
What about logos? Like coming up with an idea for a logo or something.
Yeah,
I know
it's
you're
the
saying
same,
about
it's the
the
same
name
thing with the name
photos.
thing. Like it's whatever you kind of think suits your brand. Like for us, you want to know a bit about like our logo, that neon sign with the little maple leaf. It doesn't really tell you who we are or what we do, and like that's kind of the negative part of our logo. But like I still like it just because like. If anyone played like Grand Theft Auto Vice City, I always loved that neon like writing of Vice City, and like I always loved that. So then like Pink City, I was like, for some reason like that just like screamed neon pink sign to me, and so we tried to like kind of do like our own version of that Vice City thing and add a little maple leaf because like we're Canadian, and that just ended up being our logo. And it doesn't really tell you we're like a geek streetwear lifestyle brand at all, but like. It's more like a stamp, if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like your logo, it's really up to you. And yeah, for us, like we just I kind of created a version of it, but then we actually hired like a really good graphic designer to like remaster it and make it like the clean version it is today. So like, and like you see logo changes all the time. Like, it's not a bad thing to like have a logo for like, the first year of your thing and be like, you know what? Totally different direction now, totally different vibe. I'm gonna change my logo. I'm gonna do it right.
There's something wrong with that.
Like even I was just noticing like the other day like the Raptors logo was like those basketball claw marks. Like what happened to like the red Raptor bouncing the ball? Like that's like a classic one. That's a classic one I know. And, like it's still like around, you still see it, but like their official logo is like the basketball with the claw mark. So like, and it's just like, and people just even do it to just keep things modern and fresh. Like Google changes their logo, and Walmart changes their logo. Things get like straighter lines and like simpler colors.
Yeah.
So like it's logos are like whatever. Logos are like fleeting.
Yeah,
They're always
they're
changing.
yeah.